All right. Well, welcome back. I'm joined here with Sai, John, my cat, for episode 16 of the Animi podcast,
I don't even know
presented by
cats in the shop.
Team Umai. No, well,
I think
We'll
so.
see.
Maybe.
yeah.
Cat's on my lap right now.
Well, for the time being, Cat is part of Team Umai.
Special guest today.
Yeah. Lots of good insights going to come from Cat later on. But yeah, episode 16, we watched. Well,
Anime.
we did. We
It's
watched.
a new topic. We watched anime.
We watched anime.
And not just like one or two.
Yeah, we're shaking things up here because Sai kept complaining about what we were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So we watched 29. As in we, I mean, Cy and John watched 29, and I did skip some.
Do the math.
I'm
How many?
sorry.
How long did you have to watch 29?
2 days.
2
days.
2
Wait,
weeks.
you really
could have
waited 2
watched
days?
2 a day.
Well, that was my plan, and then like stuff happened, and
I watched.
I
it
was-
all
I
in-
s-
1 hour before you go to sleep. You just
Well,
put it
that's
on
what
your
I did.
phone
I did.
instead of doom scrolling for.
I
an
don't
hour.
doom scroll. I listen.
That is
I
not
listen
true.
to Reddit creepypastas at night.
Well,
It helps me go to sleep.
John Doom scrolls.
I do.
I
I doom
100%
scroll
do.
hard, like for a couple hours.
My app
and
crashes.
I know I'm doing
sometimes.
it, and I'm just like I can't. I gotta
It's-
stop.
it's
But
addicting.
the algorithm, it's
Yeah.
just too strong. It's
Um,
too strong for it.
Yeah, well, speaking of doom scrolling, I doom scrolled a long list of anime that I didn't enjoy a lot of them. So that was pretty dooming. Is that a word?
Well, I think let's back up. Let's clear things up. So today's episode, instead of our traditional watch 3, talk about it and get through the whole season, we decided to change it up and tackle all of the episodes of every new season, of every episode in this new season for all the new series, which 29 of them across Crunchyroll, Hulu, and High Dive. And we decided, let's get them all together, get them all out in the open, have one big discussion above it, so we can let you know
Yeah.
which are the top ones you should be watching. And there is a lot that you should not be.
Yep. And take it with a grain of salt. Our top twos are purely
Yeah.
biased from our personal interests.
Yeah. So we don't know which ones. We all watched the 29 more or less.
Mhm.
2/3 of us did. But
Gotta point it out.
we with the mindset of we each pick 2. We don't know what the other 2's top ones are of the 29. If there's any overlap, we might pick a couple. I also was thinking I might pick from my anime list. I was telling Sai about this when I picked them up. The either top 2 or top 3 of the community, because they have scores out for
I'm
all
interested.
of them. And maybe add those to the watch list for a nice 8 or 10 that
Yeah.
you should be watching.
Yep.
But yeah, we're gonna dive into it. There was a lot of in this fall 2023.
Yep. From horny pigs to weird twins and reverse isekais. It's a whole. We go through the whole gamut of anime topics and tropes and genres, mainly isekais and stuff
Well,
like
I guess
that.
you could say from horny pigs to bodyguards to
Racing cars.
racing cars to isekai. That's one thing I want to bring up. It's not a reverse isekai. It's just isekai.
It is, but
Well,
the way they go.
What was the definition of an isekai that we looked up?
Also, it was they died and was born into a similar,
Unfamiliar,
That's what it was.
strange world. So it works from wherever it is.
It does. It does. It
It's
does.
just an
But
isekai.
in my eyes, it's a reverse. It's not the
not the good
typical
guy.
die in the regular world and get
it's a fresh
reincarnated.
isekai.
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah, different
fresh,
take.
new
It's a
isekai.
different take, and there's been a few
And
Yeah.
for
on
that
here.
reason,
It's
I
a
give it
world we're
props.
unfamiliar with, but it's just an isekai. I've been seeing that everywhere with this one, so it's not just you guys, but it is an isekai. But where do we want to start? Do we want to dive in with just straight off what to watch, or we want to
I think
dredge through the mud?
I say I did come up with an honorable mentions and dishonorable mentions. I think we could start there.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can start there. But overall, I mean, there was a lot of compared to other seasons like the spring and summer, not that many slice of life. I think there was like 3 tops.
Chris was so happy about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, but to
A
be
lot
honest, the
of
slice of life that we watched were
they were
not
they were
good.
not good. There was maybe like 4 slice of life, if you could even call that. 2 of them were like kind of teetering on that line. Maybe 80% of it was fantasy, a good 10% of it was isekai.
And 0.1% was a nice fresh take,
Yeah.
a nice refreshing.
There
know,
were there
anime.
were some good ones.
Yeah, I'd say there's like 1 or 2. Like,
Yeah.
I would say that like they just took it in a different way for isekai.
Yeah.
But I guess you want to give your on.
Well, I'll give my dishonorable mentions and get those out of the way.
Let's get the mud out.
Firstly, I want to bring up Protocol Rain. Okay, so Protocol Rain is about a high schooler who works at a gamer cafe, and that I will say I did not finish this one. I got to the point where they start doing gameplay in the cafe, and it was a sequence of game callouts cutting back to the gameplay, then back to the characters' reactions of playing the game. And it was the most underwhelming sequence of animation I've ever seen. Horrible dialogue in that sequence. And I just got fed up. I could not watch anymore. I did not want to give it any more of my time. The animation was very generic and not memorable.
Yeah.
It was absolutely, you take, like, whoever thought of this idea? Let's just take real life gaming and make an anime about it.
Yeah, they're trying to convey esports and kind of what that actually looks like for the communities at like those cafes.
And it
But,
did
like,
not work.
But them
didn't
trying to
work.
zoom in, it's basically Valorant. Let's be
Exactly.
honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's-
saying. I was
they
like,
take-
Valorant, but
they
it's like
take-
Doom quality.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Valorant.
Well,
plays.
it's some clearly like just some intern made some quick animation of what would be a video game if you made it real quick, and it's got all the like just spoofs of characters. It's a Valorant type setup or like CS:GO, and it doesn't even really line up to what they're doing when they're playing the game, but it's disappointing because there are other video game ones we've watched. I mean, look at My Love Story with Yamada.
Yeah.
Great animation of the video game that they're actually playing. I don't know why they didn't just animate it and like maybe make the characters themselves like the same one in there
Right.
of what they're playing, or do like which one we'll get to later, Shangri-La. That's a video game that was really great, or even the other one, the MMO one that was in this one too. Like
Right.
there was just nothing to it, and it could have been a really cool like esports or just sports anime, because that's what they are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It could have just been a sports anime of just
Right.
showing like the trials and tribulation, because they give him a very sad backstory to our main character, which they don't go full into depth, but loses his dad. I don't know if you got to the full part of it. His sister becomes paralyzed.
And,
Oh,
yeah,
yep,
did
I
that-
didn't see all that.
Yeah.
That came so like when I was watching it, they were on the couch playing. He's I'll give you a turn in a second, knock it off, and then
Yeah.
it cuts to the sequence, and now like
Yeah, they
you
don't.
notice she's just like paralyzed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
did she like what did he like?
They didn't
Slam
go
her on the couch or
Flexor.
something.
I'm sure that's like in episode 2, because the whole
Yeah.
point of the episode is to just show like he stopped doing what he loved, which was playing video games, because some event, which they'll disclose later down the line, because it'll be his hurdle to get over to get back to being good, because he's
Yeah.
trash at the game now.
the underdog story.
Yeah, which
No,
I
he
would
came back. He came back on
He
the
came.
first.
He came back.
Yeah, he
which
shook off the
there-
rust.
all right, it has every element of a good anime done in the worst way possible.
Executed poorly.
Exactly. And it's a shame, because the poster art for it looked awesome when I saw it in there. It's got a very like
Yeah, I had high
going
hopes.
for the gold and like rising up, and it's got a bunch of like good surrounding character ideas. And there's kind of a romance story at the very, very end of it that they kind of throw in, that's going to be like coming up through it. But yeah, it was
the build up.
yeah, it was bad. It was
Mhm.
highly disappointing. I gave it a 5 for, I think, an average anime.
5.
I didn't even rate it. I just didn't like it.
I did
Yeah.
not
It's
like
for
it.
me.
I would not give it a
wasn't
I,
five.
I was
for
going in
average.
there, and I was actually, because I was rating all these and marking them on my anime list as I was going through, And I didn't realize that all of their numbers have verbal scores with them too, which is how they get their 1 to 10 score. Which it's 1 is appalling, 2 is horrible, 3 is very
Hmm.
bad, 4 is bad. This could be a bad, but I was nice and I gave it 5 is average, 6 is fine, 7 is good, 8 is very good, 9 is great, and 10 is a masterpiece.
A
Mm.
masterpiece.
Yeah, so I actually
What gets
like
a
this
10?
scoring system quite a bit now. So I was going in, I was going with the verbal scoring of it.
Yeah.
So I
Are
give it
we-
a 5 for it's average, borderline 4. It's
I
like
would-
a 4.9 and like teetering back and forth between that.
Yeah, I would give it a 4 bad.
Yeah, it was
Because I couldn't even get through it.
yeah.
Each story is not captivating enough to like get me hooked to watch
Right.
it.
and I
till
want it to
continue it.
be. I want it to be.
I mean, when it comes to esports, I mean, we all play video
Yeah.
games, so like we like seeing stories like that. But
Yeah.
It
but was
reminds me
just-
of a webtoon that was reading that's pretty much kind of the same story except with the dramatic backstory of the protagonist. It's just an esports webtoon, but they capture it really good. Like the action of the game that they're playing, like is projected and like played through and everything throughout the story. Which I feel like if this had that, despite everything else, like the low animation quality, everything, but if it had a good projection of what they were playing and not just like
yeah.
I would hope maybe it's a creative choice and not just like very poorly done, but
Mhm.
the and just I want to branch off that for like an
Yeah.
example. The volleyball, the really popular volleyball
Oh,
one
yeah,
with
yeah.
blue something.
no, that's the
IQ.
that's the
That's the
football
soccer-
one.
the
IQ.
football one.
Yeah, the blue lock.
Like
I think,
just
but it's high you.
IQ.
like
Yes.
the way that they show them playing like those types of sports.
Yeah.
Like if they could translate that into
Yeah, with the mouse, we're like,
esports,
"Ah,"
Yeah.
the keyboard press, Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I want. This
flicking-
is
flicking
this
the mouse.
was
Very
yeah.
cardboard cutout.
They
cuts.
took
Yeah.
they took kind of a slice of life approach to it and took out the action and intensity of the sport.
Could have been budgeted too, with their studio. Like,
could have,
How much
but
could we?
I would honestly have preferred if when they are playing the game, they don't even cut back to the
Yeah,
actual players.
yeah,
They just
exactly.
stay in game.
It could be literally the life of the players around the game.
Right.
There's a cool, and maybe we'll watch it as like an offshoot now that we have time to do kind of other topics in between our first episode watch and how these will pan out. But there's one that's almost a Mr. Rogers TV show on Crunchyroll. But the life is about the cast members outside of the TV show.
Oh, that's
after they
cool.
leave.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what Mr. Rogers is, so. Oh, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yes.
That guy, okay.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers. Yeah.
They made an anime about it.
No.
No.
I'm saying
I was
it's
like,
about
what?
it's about a host of a children's show.
Oh,
But
okay.
the main of the bulk of the story is outside of that and how they interact throughout the day. And
So it's like a
it's
anime
a slice of
docu
life.
series.
No, it's a slice of life. It's just about him because he's like he puts on a happy smile and then he goes
Yeah.
home and he's like, I'm depressed. I'm 30 something. I have no girlfriend and everything, and he's just like getting back pain and all these things, and he's like, I've wasted my life.
Yeah.
It's funny. We should watch it at some point, but yeah, not to harp too much more on it. We want to get through the
Yeah, and for the rest
the
of these
mud.
dishonorable mentions, we don't have to go fully into it.
Yeah, I have a couple in my head. That was one of them of just like terrible. I think we'll go into the terrible. There are some that are just they're fine, they're forgettable, but we're here just to talk about absolutely avoid
Yeah.
and what you should watch.
And
if we have time, everyone's. But
for another one to absolutely avoid.
Chris is just gonna make it all about his
Yep.
role.
Go ahead, you can
And
go.
the one I think, which I would be shocked if it's not on yours. It's I'm probably butchering the name of it, but Buteriba.
Butariba. That's the one I was gonna say.
Yes,
next. So-
that
Wait, which one's
it's
that?
the horny
the
pig.
pig. It's the
Oh,
horny
absolutely
pig.
not. Yeah, that was
Just
the most
ridiculous.
painful, the most painful anime to watch of this entire season.
So I watched it because
No.
John texted us and was like, "You know what you should watch? You should watch
I forgot.
Butariba."
I forgot
And I'm
about
like,
that.
if
And
he's
you told
saying
me-
that, it must be like
I know.
some sort of
you
good.
told me on the phone, you're like, "Oh, did you watch it yet?" I'm like, "No, not yet. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be soon."
I
That-
was appalled.
was awful. That I would say
Hardcore cringe.
hands down is probably the worst one of the season. That's I would say that is a straight 4. That is bad. And Protocol Rain is a 5. That's what is it?
I'd rate them
Fine.
the same.
Average.
They're
That's
both
average.
bad to me.
No, but Butero was not only it being terrible with the protagonist being a horny pig for a clearly underage girl, which he is 100% for, which is just more moral complexities right there.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on. I have no idea. One, it's an isekai, I guess. It might not even be an isekai because I
Well,
don't know if he came from a different world.
He did. He came from Tokyo,
Japan.
Japan. He
Okay, he
mentioned
did?
it, and
Alright.
there, she's like, "I have no idea. I was
Yeah.
not
Well,
educated. I don't know."
The
what you're
reason
talking
why
about.
is because as I was trying to follow along, she was something about her like she knows she put his soul in a pig's body.
She did that.
Yes,
No, she didn't.
she did. She says the line in there. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. All I was able to do was put you in a pig."
Because she acted clueless when he said, like, does this happen often to a lot of people? And she said,
But that's
with
because
mages.
bringing into she's like, "Oh, I'm not power." Like she apologizes for doing that to him. She knows he's a human in there, and that's why I thought it was like, is this somebody she knows and she killed, or he died and she
Mhm.
put him in a pig's body? Because she knows she put a body in there, but I didn't realize it was from like Tokyo. Or that shows you.
I thought she walked in and she found him.
No,
Because she said, she was like, oh, you're not a pig, she said. And then, like, that's when she went and got the.
No, it was.
Umbrella thing or whatever.
I recall that's how it opened.
Yeah.
But I don't remember her saying I put you in there or
Well, because
apologizing
she
for
said,
that.
I'm pretty sure at the end there's something she like talks about of like they can like fix this, and that's what like
And
sets them off on their
To their
adventure.
journey to
Yeah,
the king.
which does she run that farm? Like, are they?
Yeah,
just-
she's like that's her job because
Okay.
she's part of
'cause there's
something.
no other characters other than
Yeah,
them
yeah, it
and
was
the
just them
pigs.
in the beginning,
they're
but she's
off-
taking a
yeah.
leave of absence, and I'm
Well,
assuming
I
someone's
have,
gonna
I
take
have
care.
the
Yeah.
synopsis up
Yeah,
on
because she's
here.
they're outside of the city in, like, the farm.
Yeah,
area,
yeah.
so
It says
that's why.
an unappealing or Utaku awakens in the body of a pig after he passes away while eating raw pig liver. None of that showed or mentioned at all.
Right.
The pig finds himself in the company of Jess, an innocent girl who can read people's minds, and she accepts him despite his boorish, boorish thoughts. Boorish thoughts, although she does plan to eat him. Wait, what?
Wait, hold on.
That-
That was not clear.
When he wakes up, though, he does mention he ate pork liver or whatever. Because when he wakes up in the bed, he's I guess I'm fine. I must have ate that bad, pork whatever.
I guess I must have not noticed that when he was verbally assaulting
Yeah,
her at
literally.
every point, and was like looking up at her skirt, like, oh, let's see what
Yeah.
what is it today?
And
I
it's just
hope
so
she's-
weird that she is like
She's
wanting
okay with it.
to.
She's okay with it.
please
She's like,
this
oh,
pig."
well, you're a
Yeah.
pig. That's fine.
Ugh.
Which is, I don't know if maybe I might have thought of something else I watched of why I think that she was the one who said she's responsible for it, because there were lines where she's like, oh, naughty thoughts, but that's okay. Like, I thought from her guilt or something, but the rest of it, when Jess is in danger of succumbing to a dark destiny, what?
Wait.
Can Pig save her using only his quick wit, wisdom?
It
and
probably
None
wasn't
of
showed
that-
in the
yeah,
first episode.
None of that is in there. All it is horny pig of hits on underage girl consistently from apparently dying in another world and being
Yeah.
reborn.
Not good. Not worth a
Terrible.
Waste your
watch.
time.
Bad. Very bad too. Just a straight 3 or 4. Very
Yeah.
bad. Users on my anime list gave it a 6.14.
Of course they would.
Yeah,
Because I mean, listen, everyone likes what they likes, but
so everyone
I'm not
thinks
surprised.
it's fine, guys. It's fine.
It's not our type of anime.
It's not mine.
It's not even. It's like, because we've watched other horny ones before,
Yeah,
but
but
it's
this is
not
like-
even in a way that it's like funny.
No, this is
It's
just
it's just straight
cringe.
gag,
Yeah.
gag, cringe, one after the other. Which, but yeah, that was for me the worst one in the whole season. There, I was like, I can't. That's gonna be a no for me.
So, do you have any dishonorable mentions?
That was the main one that I really didn't like.
Okay.
Mhm.
We talked about it.
Another one that I have is I shall survive using potions. Here we go with another isekai, and here we go with that person being granted an OP skill. All immediately ruins the
That's-
show
Say
for
it. They
me.
say it immediately when
Yeah.
they're talking to the god. They're like, "I want an OP skill." And
Yeah,
I'm just
like-
like, "All right, this is already ruined for me."
Exactly.
Well, so it's an isekai story, you know, normal Japan gets born into a fantasy world, but it's on accident. That's why she demands.
Yeah, sure, but
demands
like
her OP
still,
skill.
of course,
Yeah.
this person's getting an OP skill, and it just
I know
takes all the fun
it
out
ruins
of
the
it.
story. Yeah,
With a menu, what's the thing? They have an item box that's infinite and only they can access.
They have
I
an
was
ender
confused- I
chest.
was confused about that a little bit when she first does it because
It
is
can-
it the satchel that she has or is it just the?
Well,
a
I thought it
dimension she-
opened on her
She
head.
opens
That's
on
what I
her
thought
head.
too.
Yeah.
That it was like, but I think at the very end of it, she
She opens it some other way.
she opens it
I
another
think
way.
it's just different ways she can access.
Yeah.
it.
But that was
I wasn't a fan of the art style too. Also,
Yeah.
like very, like it was unique in the sense that it doesn't follow usual isekais, but it was just
Yeah.
plain,
It
nothing
was-
special.
It was very weird, the art style for me, because all the women are like have a completely different art style than the guys. Like the art style of all the men and even her family
Mm-hmm.
when she's saying goodbye to them, which it was very very weird.
Right.
It was
The god person granted it for
Yeah.
her though, like
Which-
to say goodbye, and
Yeah.
they were all like, "Oh no."
yeah,
we're
they were
okay,"
like
'cause
you're
in a
gonna be
dream,
fine.
because
Right.
she was visiting them in their dreams.
Yeah.
That's why.
But it was why couldn't he just I think he might have said something about it because I was when I was watching it's like if he has the power to birth her in another world, why can't she just stay here?
I think her body was destroyed.
Yeah,
'cause he
there's
said
no,
you can't return.
there's
he
no
said,
place for her.
yeah,
Yeah,
he said
some-
you couldn't
but-
return to your
I
body.
don't know, but he's making a whole new body somewhere else.
Yeah.
no, the body's just being created by the other god. That
Oh,
she
it's the
befriended.
same body. She said, "I want the same body, just the
No, I
youngest
know that, but
age
I'm saying
as
is
an
And
adult."
she's
why
younger,
couldn't
yeah.
he just say like, oh well, you can stay here, I'll just give you a new body, and then she has to live a whole nother life, and that would have been more interesting to me.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
But yeah, that was it wasn't bad, but it was very
It's
average.
just very average,
Very average.
isekai.
Yeah.
That
5.
I'm
This
sure some people might like, but
this is higher than the other one. But it's sitting at a 6.5, but yeah, it was
I think
not
visually, like the animation style, I think that's probably what's giving it a leg up because it's very like
yeah.
it's
vibrant.
it's
It's
different.
clean.
And,
you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
I
say
think
that.
animation wise the Protocol Rain was by far the worst animation overall, not even
Mhm.
just in the crappy CGI
No.
work for the video game, but it was the frame rate and everything which is very stuttery and very laggy. But this one and Buterba
Utariba.
have better
It did have
animation.
better
Yeah,
animation,
just-
and that was probably the only good thing about that.
Yes. Which it landed at 6.5 up from the
And I will say the the pig looked cute.
yeah.
I did like
that-
the look of the pig.
If it
but-
had a more interesting story or jumped more into it, because now I kind of want to know what her dark destiny is.
Yeah, that is interesting.
That
but I'm
didn't,
not gonna
but-
waste my time.
It's
Yeah.
not enough for me
Yeah,
to actually
it's-
care.
it-
No, I'm sorry.
These three at the end of the day do not do a good job to catch your attention or jump in and land themselves at the bottom. I think of this list. It was also too this wasn't a terrible one, but I thought it was very boring. Since we're talking about the potions one, the playthrough of a certain dude's VR MMO life.
It's not on any of my lists.
It was boring. to me.
It was
Well,
very
boring.
basic. It was very basic.
And it
Yeah.
shares almost the same thing. Like you take out isekai in a video game, and then he becomes suddenly popular because he has a potion skill, which nobody figured was important in there
Well,
for a reason I didn't even really.
it was because
understand.
the character is like a 38-year-old guy who can
Yeah.
only play a couple hours a day because of work, and he doesn't want to befriend anybody because he can't like go and play with them like if they need him or
Mhm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But so he starts working on like the most basic stuff, like his original skills to kick,
Which
or
don't
to-
play an MMO then. Play something else.
I don't know, like a scroll
Something you need to devote massive amount of time to that you're playing because you don't have a lot of time to play
Right.
games.
I do think that it does have potential, like later on, to develop more into a story, but it wasn't like
It was
wasn't
boring. The
enough.
animation was very, very bland.
It was
where-
very it wasn't memorable for me.
Yeah.
Like I honestly have a hard time remembering what
Yeah.
happened.
We watched a lot though too. So
Yeah,
it's-
but and
that's
that
like when
was
you
one
guys
of the
say something, and I'm
Mm.
like trying to remember. I'm like, wait,
Same.
what's this one about? And then I'm like, okay, now I remember.
it was one of the ones I think it was third or fourth on the list.
Mm.
So I watched it very
Yeah,
early
yeah.
on, like at the beginning of the week.
But yeah, it was just boring.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I have 3 more on my dishonorable mentions. I'm just gonna name them if
yeah,
something
name them
stands
off if
out.
there's something. Yeah,
A girl and her guard dog. Not here
agree.
for romance.
Not good for a romance
It's-
and a
it wasn't
very
even good
questionable story.
Yeah, very questionable story.
Yeah.
because he's like 26,
And she was a
she's-
kid.
Well, just the
and fell
whole
in love with him.
father complex that it builds upon. There.
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
we'll jump back to it because I do want to say
Um,
some things about that.
Tea Room Empire.
You don't like it?
So I watched the first 5 or 7 minutes.
You have to admit the opening. It surprised me. I did not expect it to get that dark and everything right at the beginning.
I was not engaged.
That was at the climax of their story, though. Of like,
Yeah, but it opens to
happening.
that. It
Yeah.
opens to that whole
then it
compared
goes-
to the
and then it-
poster, which looks like it's gonna be some cutesy.
and that's
thing.
when it lost Chris when they went
when it
back
wasn't
and-
When it
cutesy.
wasn't,
I couldn't
yeah.
do it.
He
Damn.
was like, oh,
Just kidding. No, I didn't find it interesting.
I mean, it's essentially the French Revolution.
yeah.
I
put
don't like
into an anime.
historical pieces that much. So, fortunately, that is on my dishonorable mentions. You know, apparently you guys
Yeah.
might think differently, but
Well, I thought it was an okay one.
so what's that rating?
uh,
You'd give it a
I gave
average?
I'd give it a
Tea
5 or
Room.
6, honestly.
so an average.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 6 or a 5 on it, whatever the rating for that was. I think I gave it a 5, a 6 for fine. It was
Okay.
fine. It was fine anime.
Yeah.
Sure, people will find some interest in it.
And then finally,
Mhm.
my last dishonorable mention: the family circumstances of the irregular witch.
I was just
I was wondering
I was
when you were gonna
literally
bring that
just
up.
reading that, and I went, that one was
Yeah.
just what got me for this one though was like, all right, yeah, they found a baby. This is the second anime we watch of the season where they find a baby in the woods. But it was the second that she was grown
Yeah.
up, and immediately it's just like the mom and daughter, and then it was all about her boobs and all
Yeah.
the guys.
Well,
and
the
stuff,
whole-
and I was just like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
That was a really weird one because the whole thing is like they flash forward and it's the daughter is pretty much a full grown adult.
Mhm.
16, right? 16
Yeah,
witch,
16, but literally looks like she's like
32.
she's
yeah,
the
like
mom.
30.
fully developed.
And then
Yeah.
the mom is 223 years old and
But
looks like a
she's-
child.
It's-
Yeah,
So
and they
they're
do a whole
sisters.
gag about it when they're out shopping. Which, if she's been raising her for 16 years, how does nobody in the town that they live in realize
Right.
that
That is,
it's
and
the
yeah.
daughter and the mother in the correct way?
Because they're not that secluded. It's
Yeah,
not like
they're clearly
hiding,
out there.
hiding.
There's no
Not like
issues with
Magel, or what was it?
Mashal.
Mashal.
yeah, and it's not like the one of the other ones in there where like magic is known.
Frowned upon.
Yeah, like it's fine.
Yeah.
If anything, it's a close to just a slice of life about a mom and a daughter. But
Yeah.
Who happen to be witches.
yeah,
That's really what it
and all
seems to
that.
be.
I didn't even understand what was what the main plot point of
I
it.
don't
It's her
either.
it's her.
I
Growing
think
up.
it's like-
it's her growing up.
This
I
show
guess.
is like
Well,
an
yeah.
anthology kind of thing because midway through it switched to a different kind of episode.
Mhm.
Like in the same episode, it was just a different topic.
It
Um,
literally says in the description it's a slice of life told by a mother and daughter who were inadvertently if with their inadvertent appearance and full of gags, parent and child delivers a hilarious funny comedy. So it's meant to be a slice of life comedy.
Right. I did not find it funny. I think this is geared more toward a younger teen
I don't
audience.
even know who I would say. I wouldn't even say that because it's not like a full fan service series. It's just
No,
like,
but there's like I don't know. I don't know who is watching this show
Yeah.
and enjoying it.
it's
Oh,
yeah.
I guess we check my anime lessons and see who is.
Yeah. So it got a 6.45. So
Which is appalling. to me.
well, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like bad.
It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was as hard to watch as
Yeah.
as the pig one for me.
Yeah, like it wasn't overly fan servicey. So like the pig one,
Right.
or like
I mean, there's a lot
sexualizing.
of boob jiggle
Yeah,
in it,
but it's
but
not. It's not even like the main thing. The main thing in there is like both of them being overprotective about
each other.
the idea of the other one starting to date.
Date,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
yeah.
always been them two though, growing up. So I guess that's
I
why.
guess, but I guess we'll get more. You would get more flashbacks of it later because they didn't really.
The
show
only
any of it.
enjoyable thing about that
I didn't find it.
episode was the Phoenix.
I was
that
gonna
was
say,
Oh
yeah, he was
yes,
funny. The
he
Phoenix
was
was
funny.
funny.
I liked the
He was like,
Phoenix.
oh,
but that was it.
Yeah.
he pokes his head and he's like, "Oh, so you would never consider me?"
Yeah, yeah.
I was just like,
that
yeah,
that
was funny.
that was honestly
He's like
the funniest thing in
like
there.
a kid
but,
drawing sketch
um,
of a phoenix.
yeah, those I would have to say are quite honestly all the
Yeah.
bad ones. What was the other one you said? The
It was
Guard Dog and
Tea Room Empire.
Tea Room Empire.
Yeah.
But Tea Room Empire I thought was fine. If you like historical with an anime cutesy twist, then
Yeah, it's
you'll
not
like it.
100% accurate, but
Yeah,
they're
but
gonna,
it's
they're
they
gonna
took
make,
the
yeah,
they took the core concept of it.
exactly.
If you want to watch a good anime about, well, it's not anime, but French Revolution, Castlevania Nocturne takes place during the French Revolution, gets into like Haiti slaves, and
Hey, we don't talk about Netflix anime on here,
but it was
It's,
so good.
it was very. Good.
You did watch it?
I did watch it. I
Oh,
watched
man.
all the Castlevania, and the last episode of that, like,
So good.
yeah, so good.
Great cliffhanger.
I did not.
Maybe we'll do that at some point also. But yeah, that was
I thoroughly enjoyed it more than the other Castlevania series.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
well,
really-
it just had so much to go upon.
yeah.
But getting
But,
back to
yeah, that was
full
the side-
anime,
Sorry.
how bad it is.
Well, now we're moving into the. So that was my dishonorable mentions.
But-
some other ones.
yeah, so avoid those at all costs.
Yeah.
And let's get into what we're here for. What you should be watching. The Anumai Fall Watch List.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. What's
8 to
worth your
10
time?
Series of what you should be
You'll
watching.
be happy spending your time watching
Oh, yeah.
these shows.
So who wants to go first? Who wants
Well, I
Please-
just
please
want to
do.
say ones that didn't make my list but had potential.
I think we should save that to the end. We
Are you
do that?
sure?
Yeah.
I would say we jump into what we liked and then
Okay.
like,
And then
hey,
just being like, there were some interesting ones in here too. You might want to take a look at. We won't, but
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So I say Psy.
I can go, yeah.
yeah.
Let's
So
go.
I have 4. Two
Oh,
of
you
them
picked
are
four. You're
I
supposed to pick
definitely-
two.
Two definitely going to
Yeah.
watch. Two that I think are interesting. That
Honorable
I,
mentions.
well,
Save those for the end.
exactly.
Yeah. So just
which
your
I
two,
might still watch because I
Yeah.
think I might like them.
Let's go. Your
So-
two top ones.
So the first one that I enjoy the most is Dead Mount Death Play.
Oh no way! Really?
yes.
That's
Okay.
one of your
I
top
lied
two.
to
That was a
Chris
good one.
when he asked me about it.
Wow, that's
Oh.
funny.
Yeah, no, I just found this one to be just a refresher.
Yeah.
the
very
reverse
interesting.
isekai.
The reverse
Yeah,
isekai.
because it threw me
Yeah.
off. I remember telling you in the car. I
The
was just
fresh
like,
isekai.
it threw me off at first. I was like,
It was a
"Wait,
pretty
what?"
good twist
It was
when
a
it
very
ended.
good
I was like,
twist.
oh my gosh, I
Very
can't
good.
believe they went that route.
I
And
was
I
like,
was
okay.
pleasantly surprised.
Yes,
Yeah.
like, and that was the only time I felt this
Yeah.
watching any of these shows.
And it had pretty good animation.
Yeah,
it was
pretty good
cool
animation.
the way they
So,
did everything.
I really
I didn't
enjoyed it.
like the thing. I think the voice sound for the main guy was a little weird.
Did this one have
no,
dub?
no, this is after he came back.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that
Like
voice
that
is
that
different.
voice was
Yeah.
like,
Did
but
it have a dub?
It did have a dub.
I watched it in sub, so
Oh, I watched it dubbed.
I watched
On
it.
the
Yeah, I
dub.
watched everything that was in dub that could be dubbed, so I
Yeah.
definitely watched.
Some of them I did watch dub because like I wanted to be able to do other things while
Mhm. Yeah.
watching. I didn't want to just.
There was a
spend
good
my-
amount. There was like 7 or 8. I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
like
that were, and some of them came out as we were watching them too. So
because you added the
yeah,
one or
there
two
will
that were
be.
on there.
There's I think a third of them. No, like a fourth of them are dubbed out of the 29 or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. A fresh take on isekai. I know in the car we talked about. I thought it was the knight that he faces.
That's what we
It-
said.
That's
and
what
the-
I
was-
thought.
yeah.
But then the moment that he brought up these are my playthings or whatever, that's when
Mhm.
I was just like, I was like,
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I
It was
genuinely
very surprising. I
surprised.
watched the first 3 episodes of it.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. I didn't watch the first. I just kept going
Yeah.
down the list. That's why. But
Yeah.
no, I'm excited.
Yeah, it
for
was a
this one.
pretty good one.
yeah.
Very excited.
Do you know
It's wild.
what the studio was who did that?
I do not know.
I don't know. Tell us.
I don't know either. I was just
Oh, I
curious.
thought you were gonna
No,
make a
'cause
real
for
I
my-
thought
put
you were
up.
about to drop a fact on
Yeah.
us right
For
there.
my
Big. I have it right here.
I pulled it up as well.
Which
I only have screenshots.
on
of
my
maps
anime
on
list, I'm a little confused because it says Death Mount Play Part 2,
Mm.
not Part 1.
Well, I see both of them.
You see both of them, but we were just watching, so I don't
Oh.
know what, because it says it's a prequel to Death. It's a prequel.
Wait, did we watch it out of order?
No, so we watch. So I think they have this messed up on the website because the poster art for Death Mount Play is the one that's on Crunchyroll. And I guess Death Mount Play Part 2 is a sequel that's coming out, or just says Part 2. So it might be like Spy Family Part
Eventually,
2.
yeah.
But they have it listed as this season's, which it's not.
Maybe it's like
So,
a legal. You
the
think it's like a publishing
studio-
legal thing or something?
The
It might
studio
be.
is called Geek Toys, and they also did Miji and Dolly.
I
Yeah.
can see that. I can see that.
Oh man, I just
That'll be an honorable
I
mention.
don't-
We'll get to
I don't
just
like creepy
just
scary.
purely that's a weird neutral spot in
Right.
there.
But it was enjoyable to watch Miji and Dolly. I will
yeah,
say that.
we'll get to it. That
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
talk
go
about.
to it.
So I think that should be the last one we talk about. here.
So the next one that I liked, this is one
You didn't
that
want to
we
go into what it was about, or anything?
what
No, that's fine. Yeah, just go.
about the
What Death Mount Dead Play? It's another isekai.
Mhm.
The villain in the first episode gets reincarnated into
From a fantasy world to our world,
yeah.
but with his abilities still, and there's some weird underlying story of the person's body he inhibits who was murdered for a reason we don't know yet, which
It
I'm
was
sure will play
assassination
out.
hit.
Yeah.
there's a group of people that take out assassinations
Yeah.
and then they recover the bodies and there's like drones flying around. So it's definitely like modern times, but like
Right,
maybe a little bit more
exactly.
futuristic.
But yeah, somebody was hired to just kill this
16-year-old kid.
Yeah, this normal kid,
Volka, I think
which
his name
yeah,
was.
which later we find out is probably not too innocent as it was, and he's slowly remembering the memories of this body he
Right.
inhibits, but we'll see. It's a fresh take on isekai. Definitely should watch it.
Mhm.
Great animation, very dark, very 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 refreshing.
Yeah, I will say that it did make my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
It was the first one I watched, and it was going to be one of my top
Yeah.
two. So
Well, it's good to be restricted because there were definitely a lot that I was like, ooh, I would want to watch this
Yeah.
and watch this, but it got a 7.3. People definitely liked it. They thought it was
I would give
good.
it that.
Yeah. But what's your second pick? Si?
Wicked. No, so the second one, this is the one I believe that at New York Comic Con I got to catch a tail end of episode 2
Yeah.
and 3, but A Returner's Magic Should Be Special.
Yes.
So this one, after watching the first episode, I then realized, oh wait, this is one that we were able to sit down and watch at New York Comic Con.
Yeah,
which
the
was
first three episodes.
first
that they
three
had.
episodes before anybody could see it, even
Yeah.
in Japan.
Well,
which
I
was
think
the-
episode 1 and 2 were out, but episode 3 was
Three
first
was
premiere
it,
there, which I really liked it. I thought it was going to be that is one that I thought was like, yes, is really good. I'm
Mhm.
really excited to watch it. It's
me-
not an isekai.
It's not, to me. It's like
It's a
what's-
second chance.
it's like a second chance. What's that movie? I think I talked to Chris about it. It's like where they die and they go back in time each time they die to try to like figure
Oh
it
yeah.
out.
It's
So,
that Tom
Edge of
it's
Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow,
is
which is an original anime.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
which
do
they-
have it in my room.
Yeah,
So-
they butchered.
It has
butchered it.
it has that feel in it, you know. So they end up having to defeat this giant magical dragon, or it's a dragon,
Yes,
right?
which-
yeah,
Don't be thrown off by the CGI on it,
yeah.
because that almost got me in the first one. I was like, oh, this is gonna be
This is weird.
This is gonna be just a boring animation one. But once they get through that, they think they defeat it, but they didn't. In actuality, they didn't clear
the heart The heart
Yeah.
is it stores up all the mana and explodes. They tried to shield,
Yeah.
and it's sad because like they're talking about like what they're gonna do when they
Yeah.
get back, how they're gonna rebuild the
It's
world,
pretty emotional at the
and
beginning.
then ends up like, hey, he's like, just accept our fates. They tried to shield, but then he just immediately just wakes up and he's staring kind of like out the window back at his school that he started at
Hmm.
as a commoner, and it takes him like a minute or two to realize like what's going on, and he's then realize I have a second chance, and he's seeing people that have died in this war, and it's making him real emotional. He's like, I have to now like seize this moment, and I have to like try to um change what happened basically. So
No, yeah, I really liked it. That second chance to like change it and rebuild his team at a much faster pace, and with all of his knowledge, I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
And since we watched all three of those, I knew exactly where it was going. It hooked me right onto it
Yeah.
after we get past the big opening fight of it.
I was
So
excited. Yeah, I was excited once
I definitely will be
yeah.
watching that one too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Chris, did you watch that one?
I did, but I think it was one of the it was on the top of the list. So
Yeah.
the first ones I watched.
You said it was an honorable mention, right?
no.
That
No?
was the last
No.
one. I think
Oh, that was
the
the first
reason
one.
being too is like because you weren't with us when
Yeah.
like I got to watch the end of the second and then
Yeah, I
the-
was
the
busy
third
If
meeting
one.
you
Kid
if you
Cudi.
watch, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
you were. Should
No,
be
you
out
were
there
busy
watching
meeting somebody who
anime.
shook Kid Cudi's hand.
I did shake his
Yeah.
hand.
You shook the guy's hand that shook Kid Cudi's hand. That's what you told me.
That is not what I told you. You always do this and
What do you
twist my
mean?
words.
No,
I
you
said I
it when you
sat
were that-
next to someone who got a signed copy and shook his hand, and I took the opportunity, reached my hand
Yeah.
out, and he shook mine too.
I thought you meant that you shook
No,
his
no, no.
hand.
This guy.
And you were
the
like
only-
in tandem.
he
Then
o-
that means
the
I shook
comic
his
which you
hand.
got was only the one signed by the artist. You didn't get it signed by Cuddy.
Co-creator.
Co-creator.
No, the guy next to me got it signed by Cuddy. I got it signed
So
by
hostile for an
some other
honest
guy.
mistake,
No,
Chris.
because you always
No,
do
that
this.
was honest.
You
That
always
was
do
honest.
this.
Honest. That was honest, Chris. I was honest with you. You're breaking my heart.
All right.
No, we're gonna. We should lock you two in a room and just do a mini series.
I just put one camera in the
Yeah.
corner. Who survives? Chris and I would kill each other.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think if you definitely watch straight through the episodes that are in there, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to have a fun time.
I'm gonna have to
Um,
revisit it because I'm having a hard time remembering.
No.
I think really the second and third episodes really weren't it.
Yeah, it definitely
where
because
it
he
picks
starts
up
being
and
very
hooks.
analytical and like jumping in of like his plan to save everybody and save
And very
who you get
exploitative.
introduced to, which was like the love of his life that he met at school, and how he's gonna like change her fate because she dies early on, and the whole
Yeah, even before the first fight in the episode.
yeah. So it's good. I'm trying to find where it is to give it a.
Bop, 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 bop.
I think it got like a 4.8 on Crunchyroll.
Did it really?
Yeah, out of 5. 4.8 out of 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you meant out of the 10.
No,
I'm
no.
tripping. I was like,
well,
really?
Because I
What?
remember the Crunchyroll score for it. But for whatever reason, I don't see it on my anime list. But yeah, 4.8. So people really liked it. I really liked it.
I think Chris, if you watch the next 2 episodes, I think it would start to hook you. There's a lot of action and fighting that I think you would find it very enjoyable.
Oh, here it is. I found it. They gave it a 7.18. So it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
a good
definitely up
one.
there.
It's a good one you should watch.
And then that's it for my 2
Yeah.
that I picked. The other 2 are my honorable mentions, which we're gonna save
We're gonna
at
save
the
it
end.
at
We're gonna
the
have
end.
maybe John go next. I think
No,
because Chris
I
is
want
jumping.
I want Chris to go because
you
I
sure?
have a bunch that I'll.
It's
I'll-
2. It's 2
yeah.
only.
Okay,
2.
So let's go, Chris.
So
Save the
okay.
best for last. You know.
I do.
So Kat's
have
going last.
My top 2, but I also have a top 3.
What's his MySpace?
Well, your top 2. Let's
Yeah, I'm gonna give my top 2, but the third one I'll bring up during the
both
honorable
out there.
mentions.
Drop both.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with number 2 first.
Uh-huh.
Shangri-La Frontiers.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so
Really?
it's I'm gonna read this. In this story, Rakuro Hizutome, a high school student, is obsessed with playing and mastering badly designed video games. He's exceptionally skilled at gaming and enjoys the worst games. They call these games trash games, and there's these group of people called freaks that actively like search for these bad games to play them and enjoy it. So he beats a bad game and then goes back to this game store where he picks up a new game called Shangri-La Frontier. And he uses his gaming experience to optimize his character and immediately dives into the game, skipping the introductory part of the game. And the central question is, can this expert bad gamer enthusiast uncover all the hidden secrets of Shangri-La Frontier?
Yeah, but another thing to add to it is like he's used to playing trash games.
Yeah.
This is a real AAA game that's
Which is
not a
hard,
trash game, and
but
it's
you
a
know,
Right.
it's a highly ranked game.
he's going up against the worst.
So
Exactly.
what I'm gonna say is some things that stand out. It's like very different from a lot of these shows that utilize video games.
It's one of those VR dive games.
Yeah, like
there's
Sword
a
Art
headset
Online and
everything
They do
for
a
it.
good job in the different games though, because even in the first the intro of the first
Yeah.
game of the elf princess getting kicked in the
That-
face by the
Yeah.
so
like,
that was
"What?"
the moment
That was
I was
peak
like,
animation right
yeah,
there.
I
too.
was
the
like,
face smush as it's going in. I was like,
I knew
what
I was
in the
gonna like
world?
this once
Yeah.
I saw it because you don't get that in cookie cutter shows.
No.
So
It's so unique. It is
exactly
very unique.
So that's
Yeah.
what I wrote. Good animation, and they don't really look generic.
yeah, each video game is
So,
very unique that they do, which is
um,
good.
Which yeah, they did a way better job of that, but didn't bother to do it in Protocol
No.
Rain. But yeah, no, that was really good. And the whole thing that he starts
That's so
after he
funny.
wins and he kicks her in the face, he's like, how he just dives into how long it took him to beat
Lists.
the game because of all of her
Lists.
game breaking
Mhm.
issues.
Because
But,
every time she did something, somebody like died and something happened. Like she's in the
Right.
market and that guy just like dies. And
Yeah.
So
how'd you get a wheelbarrow?
I was really surprised watching this because, in a way, it kind of is like Isekai, just covered up
Mhm.
by video game RPG stuff, MMO.
Well, I think, like you said, it's pretty much like
Sword
Sword
Art
Art
Online,
Online.
yeah.
We're getting a full dive into this VR because this is like the first AAA game that he's played in forever.
Right.
And he's just blown away by like the combat system and
He
how
even
like
says it.
intricate.
He's,
Yeah,
wow, this is how a AAA game is supposed to
Yeah.
be. Like
which shows you how much fantasy is because most AAA games we get today still have game
Yeah.
breaking.
they release them
freaking
too
bugs.
early because of deadlines. Like just
Yes.
take the extra time,
I know.
make the game good.
But yeah, it was a really good show with great animation, and it had me very engaged.
Funny parts, some very good funny parts.
But I did read some things online about future episodes, so it does make me question if it will hold up throughout the
Yeah.
whole series. I will continue to watch it because it is on my top 2, and I want to see what happens. I had fun watching the show,
Okay.
and that doesn't happen often with a lot of these new series that we watch. And I was just surprised that I was like into the genre.
Yeah.
There's
I know there's a lot of webtoons I've read like this that
Right.
are like somebody who gets so like it doesn't take the approach of like Sword Art where like they're stuck in there and that's life or death, but it's like they play the game so intensely that it's literally like playing another
Mhm.
life and it
It's like
just matters so
Matrix.
much to
It's
them,
like- it's
which
like
I
that-
think is
yeah.
why Protocol Rain
so
sucks. It misses the point.
I tried looking up stuff about the author. The
Mhm.
name's Katarina. Like the name doesn't link to anywhere, so I couldn't find any
It's
information.
probably their pen name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I couldn't it wouldn't link to other works that they've done. But the animation studio,
Well, I feel like most artists only have like 2 or 3 max like
Sure,
series that put out
sure.
because if they go on for so
but
long
I
in
couldn't
publication.
find. So is this the first one they did, or
It may
that
be.
was a question? But
Yeah.
the animation studio is C2C, and they most notably, in my opinion, did Handyman Saito.
Oh,
One of my favorites.
Right? Isn't
Wow.
that
one of
really
Look at that
my
little
favorites?
little connection thing. I would love to see a relationship tree of just like series connected by just visually of like
Yeah.
all the studios that do
Yeah.
them and how many overlap and how many like
Yeah, different
collabs
styles.
that they did.
So this Shangri-La Frontier got an 8.101
I saw that.
on my
Yeah.
anime list.
So, very good.
Yes, and I will agree. This was really good. But as I said, based off of what I've read online, will it hold up throughout the rest of
We'll
the
see.
series?
You'll have to tune in to our
hope
best
so.
anime of the fall season, which
Yep.
we'll do probably in December. I think this is the midway point, so it'll be probably the beginning or middle of December where all these animes will wrap up. We'll come back. We'll do it just like we did our final for the spring, but we ran out of time to do it for the summer because watching 3 and then doing it just doesn't leave us so much time to do
Right.
We had a
both.
lot of stuff in the summer to do as well.
Yeah, that's true. So we should be right on track to do this now. I will definitely be curious to see because I thoroughly enjoy this. This was almost going to be one of my top ones for just how great of a time
I
had
cannot
with it.
wait to hear your top
But,
ones, John.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
really
I'm-
concerned because if
because
that
of,
wasn't
like,
on there,
Yeah.
We have different ones now,
Yeah.
which this is
It's
why I
good.
didn't say. I said
It's
I'll
good.
tell
we get,
you guys
we get
tomorrow.
a nice little spread of the anime.
so
your second one up, which I think we know,
which
of.
is my number one top,
we know
and
what
you
it is.
Oh, so
probably
you did
know.
your
he
number
saved
2.
it for
Yeah, I
last.
went in
He's
reverse.
number
I saved
2.
my favorite for last.
Okay.
Well, actually, yeah, that is accurate. Okay.
Okay.
So produced by Tezuka
Oh
Productions.
wow, you're giving it
Nice.
the
I'm
grand,
He's
the
so
grand
excited.
rollout.
Doing a
Okay.
good
So
opening.
excited.
They also did My Home Hero, Pluto,
Okay.
which is now on Netflix.
Oh, they did that too.
And they have a long list spanning from the 80s
just
and 90s.
bangers?
No, not even bangers. I mean, they did Astro Boy,
Mhm.
but they're an old studio that's been around for
so
a while.
they know what they're doing pretty
Experience,
much.
yeah.
It's by the creator of a series that I thoroughly enjoyed reading called I Am a Hero, which is a zombie
Oh,
apocalypse.
That style reminds me very much like that
Exactly.
now that you mention it.
Introducing
The drum roll.
Under Ninja. It was like the
Under Ninja.
great breeze of fresh air. It was so different from everything on this list. It's funny and does a great job building suspense. It does a marvelous job throwing fluid motions in this choppy like animation style, and that's what I love about it because you don't get this style often. And people online are saying, "Oh, it sucks. It sucks." They don't appreciate it. Okay.
Hot take
I was
from
wondering
Chris,
about,
everybody.
Well,
Woo.
I was gonna bring this up afterwards, but people gave it a 6.47.
Yeah,
They
I'm
said it was-
shocked.
It's average.
They don't understand how
Yeah,
good
these-
this show is.
These youngins out there, they don't know true
I mean,
gems.
I think
It was
it's
good.
okay.
So
I have a description.
Yeah.
So after World War II, the Allied Command in Japan established an agency staffed with ninja to address terrorism and violence in the Pacific region. Initially focused on domestic issues, the program has grown to include 20,000 ninja handling various domestic international matters. Among them is Kudo, a 17-year-old high school student who is now tasked with defending Tokyo against potential foreign assassins.
I will say the first thought that came for Under Ninja, when I was watching it, the first thing that came to mind was before you figure out how old they are and everything. When I was watching Under Ninja, was this is essentially Ninja 21 Jump Street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah,
That's what.
I was like,
Vibe.
oh, okay. At first, I thought it was gonna be like a serious one, but then when they were all on the roof and they're just like talking to each other, and he's like, I think there's gum around here somewhere. Don't step on it. He's like,
And then
"Fuck, I
He
stepped
had
in
the
gum."
comment about. I don't even want to get into it,
But yeah, I thought it was like, oh, this is 21 Jump Street Ninja edition. But then also when you later find out, oh, he's 17, but he's got that facial hair.
Mhm.
Dude looks
literally.
like he's 30.
Yeah,
bro.
that's why I thought it was like, I was like, how is he going to high school? Like even the poster of it too, you see, it was like, how is he in high school? There's no way nobody's
Right.
like that. But he's just
What gets me is him in his room,
Yeah,
bored, just
exactly.
shooting cigarette filters with toothpicks in them.
yeah,
His mouth,
and then rating,
and
them.
then rating
Yeah.
them, and then he has drinks with his neighbor.
Yeah.
He farts and it shoots.
Well,
it.
that's why I
Watch
thought also
this.
too, because they seemed like old souls, just like drinking.
right.
And then he's like, I'm only 17, but I never went to school, because he's asking her for advice. And she's like, well, don't ask me because I dropped out. But yeah, it's
His family, he was explaining how like he became like orphaned or whatever,
Yeah.
how he is now, and he's like, oh, so and so got struck by lightning, and she like loses her mind laughing
Right.
at
Yep.
him. I was like, what?
But it like I couldn't find any of the typical anime tropes in this show. So all the characters feel fresh and have like their distinct styles and personalities. And it's just very bizarre.
It is bizarre. It's funny. It's not bizarre in a sense like JoJo's Bizarre
Right.
Adventure.
It's just
But it's
out
funny
there.
enough. It's like 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Funny. It is essentially Ninja 21 Jump Street.
And the humor is like very dry and subtle.
Yeah.
And that's like my favorite kind of humor in shows.
Yeah, it was really good. I definitely agree with you. I don't think it deserved the rating it
No.
got.
Well,
Absolutely
I am
not.
surprised.
Well, on Crunchyroll did get like a 4.3.
Yeah,
So
but my anime list has a much wider pool.
it
and
does.
But yeah,
And those
it was
people who rated it poorly they're the ones watching Butariba. Like,
Yes.
come on.
So would you have watched this if it didn't have swords in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it comes from the creator of I Am a Hero, and that
Yeah.
had no swords really. It's like a zombie apocalypse that had a mall arc, like a mall in a zombie apocalypse. It just has to be done. So, but it was also really good, really funny and dry and bizarre. The main character was super interesting as well, but it does like tread some questionable waters. Like the main character does end up having a relationship with someone who's underage.
Well, we're here to talk about this.
Yeah, but no, but like my point is, it comes
Stay
from
tuned
someone.
for Chris's manga breakdowns.
It comes from someone that I admire.
Yeah.
From his works, and
There's a history here of a strong history for like really good
So,
series and
yeah.
everything, and
Versus
it definitely
fanboying a little bit,
definitely is.
basically.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's the top of my list.
I enjoyed it. I
Definitely
didn't
gonna
watch
keep
the
watching.
next couple of episodes. Just also too in there, it has a really great. I think it's the cold open for it when the soldiers
Yeah,
are in the Middle East
Mhm.
and they're like breaching a room, and you get in there and the terrorist that they're like hunting down is literally his head is sliced clean off. I thought though that
and his
that
thumb and just his thumb.
Yeah.
'Cause he couldn't hit the
he couldn't hit the detonator.
Right.
But I thought that was going to tie back to our main protagonist.
It will. I think it 100%. Because
Well,
they said
they talk
he said like, what do you see? Because when they were in the van talking to each other, the carriers. He
He
said,
talks about the event, and then it
said he slayed
rewinds
this
back
person.
to that foreigner coming to the country, but that's not. I mean, at least what we know right now.
I think they'll get to it.
Yeah,
But the other thing I liked about this that I thought was unique is like that random dude who's like, oh, I want to be a ninja, and he has this sword that's an umbrella, and he's like, well, and the guy's like, well, if you throw a rock,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
What?
The foreigner who comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was a flashback.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because they're
Oh.
in their car talking, and it flashes back to he's like, well, he's the one who stopped that foreigner, and then it goes. I think it says like 6 months back or a couple months back, and it goes
Oh,
to that in
okay.
there.
My thing was this. I just like how they said like anybody could be
Yes.
a ninja, and it's not like, oh, you're a specific build or
And
a
he's
type
like,
of
huh?
person.
Right.
Huh?
You could be this old person. You could be this young person over here. Doesn't matter. Like that's how they're doing.
The
it,
foreigner's
so.
like, direct me to your ninja,
Yeah.
and he's like, well, buddy,
Turn
it could be
around.
exactly.
Is it you? Is it you?
And he starts getting all defensive. No, yeah, that was a really good one, but it was a flashback to what he did, which we're gonna see.
So yeah, those are my top two: Under Ninja and Shangri-La Frontiers.
Nice.
So
Now we're very curious.
Yep,
to
I-
know
Very, very.
I
very
think I
good.
know
John's
one of yours.
long-winded explanations of his 11 that he chose as his number ones.
Well, guys, you want to take a guess at what they are, or you want me to?
I will guess one of them.
Yeah, I guess one of them.
I think you're changing them based.
Actually,
off
I'll
of what
guess.
we picked.
I'll guess two.
I think
Yeah.
ours are on your
Get,
top.
you both want to guess the two, and then I'll tell you
Yeah, are you gonna guess?
what they
Shy.
are.
Chai,
Yeah,
the superhero.
I think it's gonna be
That was gonna make my honorable mentions, but I took it out because it didn't hold up with the rest.
Okay.
Um,
What else do you think? Shy and
Oh, I
what
thought we were
else?
just doing one
No,
each.
you're trying to pick my two. Okay, Chris, you want
It's the creepy one.
Undead Unluck
that unlock? Okay.
and the Kingdom of Ruin.
No, I forgot about
King
that
of Ruin.
one.
Okay. Did you want to pick the?
No,
the
it's
other?
it's fine. Just go. I totally forgot about the Hulu one, man. That was fucking wild, dude. What the fuck, man?
Yes.
I
yes.
was like, what?
Yes.
That was
So in no particular order, because I think they are both great. It's going to be. Let me find it here so I don't butcher the name of it. I just scrolled past it. Okay. Our dating story, the experience you and I expected.
You're lying. You're lying.
Yes,
Lying.
100% lying.
Oh, I was like, bro, get out of here.
No, that was pretty bad. And not even because of what the story is, because there are other stories I've read that use that same plot line that do it so much better.
Mhm.
But no, Chris, you're pretty much that's pretty much it. Yeah.
The Kingdom of Ruin and Undead.
Kingdom of Ruin, and
spot on.
I think Kingdom of Ruin I would have to say was probably my favorite.
It was really good.
It gives me. I was trying to figure out like what to compare it to, because it's just
When I was watching it, I kind of got hints of Full Metal Alchemist. In a
yes,
way.
I was getting that mixed with kind of Code Geass of just like
Yeah, yeah.
this like weird political like war that was like breaking out. Those were the two things that kept playing in the head, and the art style too
Mhm.
was just like
It was really good.
it's really good. And I think what for Code Geass and yeah, Full Metal too was just like the unbridled things that could happen when he's the main our main protagonist is traveling with his mentor, yeah, his teacher, who he has formed a connection with of like family and love, which is a better representation of what Guard Dog couldn't achieve.
Yeah.
But they get captured, and she pleads for him to be spared, and then she gets blown away, like just
Literally.
bullets,
Literally.
and they literally show the negative space contrast with the animation,
Yeah.
which is amazing, where it's just like showing like body parts just being blown
Blown
off, but
off.
not the actual gore.
Mhm.
It was so good. I loved it.
I honestly didn't think they were going to do that.
Exactly.
So when they did, I was like, oh, this is
Mhm.
going to be.
Well, it kept making me think like because like it got pretty dark in that moment too. Like the
Right.
king literally looked like he like rips her shirt open in front of everybody, and they're like,
Yeah.
show us your skin and everything. You're
It
like,
was-
you're
it was pretty
property of the kingdom. And I was like, what the fuck are they about to do? But then he just takes out after she starts pleading, shoots her in the head.
Yeah.
He starts screaming and going crazy, and swears vengeance right there.
That's my note for this anime that I put. I put interesting revenge story. To
Yes,
I
yes,
was like,
it
yo,
is.
this is gonna be
It is really good,
wild.
and I watched episode 2 last night after I finished everything, and it's just really really good. I'm really enjoying it. It was probably it's these
So,
two are right up
that
there.
was my my third one.
Yeah.
My top
yeah,
3.
but it was really good.
It was.
I thoroughly enjoyed.
So
it.
I was torn between Kingdom of Ruin and Shangri-La Frontiers.
Yeah.
But like I knew this probably was going to be your
It
top. So
it has such a it captured, because I've never been able to find a story like Full Metal and Code Geass. Like they have their specific categories:
Mhm.
mech, fantasy, war. But I've never found other ones that encapsulate them, and I feel like those two series are like very unique in themselves. Of like nobody's been able to encapsulate it, and I don't think this is necessarily capturing those, but I think it's in the same way that I feel about those two, about like they're just so unique and have
yeah,
such great.
they're in the same vein.
Exactly, they hit the same nerve that I get when watching those, which I'm
Right.
like, oh, I need to know what's going to occur about them.
Yeah. So yeah, I fully agree.
Yeah. That, and then also like you said, Undead Unluck.
That one was also really
that was a
good.
breakout one.
I was
that's-
surprised because I did like a year ago
Mhm.
start reading the manga and
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Yeah,
But
seeing
after
it
watching,
animated. Yeah,
it's a good animation.
yeah, I had that same thing.
I've enjoyed going into this season not looking at anything or
Yeah.
reading about them and just starting it.
Yeah.
I had no idea what this anime was about. And then after about a minute and a half, I was just like, what the?
Yeah.
It's wild.
So like this one, because I feel like this has a lot in there, and I kind of told. So I watched this. I read it like you. I think it's a still ongoing Shonen Jump serialization.
hmm
I think a new chapter just came out today, actually. But at New York Comic Con, that was the first viewing I had seen at it. A week before, I guess episode 1 had already come out. It is on Hulu, but not just being on Hulu. I think I mentioned to you guys too.
Yep.
This is a Hulu original series. So Disney is getting into the Netflix escapades of, in turn, not just renting out the streaming rights to it like they did with Bleach. They pretty much bought the IP, and it's now a Hulu original series, kind of like what Netflix does with
Castlevania.
Castlevania, or what's the other one? Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, where they just pretty much own everything for it. They are 100%. It's original one. It's a studio that I guess they hired completely to make it for them. But it is
For their
pretty cool.
first one, competing with all the ones Netflix has, like they did a really good job.
Really good job. The opening animation too, for because they at New York Comic Con they were giving us they were doing a recap of they were re-showing the first episode, and they were giving us a worldwide premiere of episode 2, followed by a giveaway which you guys should have went to it. I'm so mad. The room was practically empty. There was like maybe 20 people in there by the time the panel started, spread out in this room that could easily hold 100 people, for it, which was really surprising. But they showed us both the episodes. Great. They cut out the openers and endings, which I didn't see until I watched the most recent episode also last night of this, and have been able to see them. But the just the amount of people that were there, they were like, okay, hey, we're going to do a giveaway. And they did trivia that was based on what we just watched. Very easy questions of like, who's the main character's name? Who is the name of the evil organization?
I remember you telling me.
Yeah.
about it,
What's, does she have short hair or long hair? Like these
Well, she had both.
Exactly. But it was literally just like very easy questions. And they were giving away signed scripts of
That's
the
crazy.
voice actors reading, signed posters, cast hoodie.
Because they couldn't have
sweater.
the voice actors.
Yeah, but they were literally giving, and as soon as they did that, everybody was jumping up. I was jumping up trying to like get something, but they easily gave out 13 pieces of signed merch
Wow.
for a room of roughly 20 people, maybe
What'd
30
you get?
people max. I got nothing. Well, no, I got fans with the two protagonists'
Yeah.
faces on them, which I helped distribute because it was just like a couple staff members there, and they were like going through each seat, putting them on each seat, and I was like, I can just put it for this row if you want. She's like, okay, that'd be helpful, and I just
Oh, that's
did
funny.
that all.
You're like, but I want a shirt.
Exactly. Well, had I known that was occurring, maybe, but yeah, it's great. That opening animation for it, where I thought we were watching something completely different, and I was like, I don't remember this at all.
Yeah.
Where it turns into the
Her favorite
manga.
manga.
She's
Yeah, it's her
reading, and she's
favorite.
like,
The art on that was kind of cool with the
Yeah.
snow and kind of. I was for a second. I was just
Yeah.
like, wow. I was like, I
They
like this art
spared-
style, but then
yeah,
there was
right?
like, and that's my favorite manga. Now I can go
they
jump off
spared
this. And I'm like, what?
no budget for that. Because yeah, that was literally, I felt like I was watching some weird original anime movie there that I
Mhm.
was like, what? am
When I was
missing?
watching, I'm like,
and it
I don't
keeps
remember
cutting-
starting like
and it
this.
looks really weird because they're giving you one art style of what she's imagining in her head, which you don't know yet, and then they're giving you the flashback to this completely different area, which
Right.
you again don't know is a flashback, and you think it's like cutting back and forth in two weird time things, to then literally show to you, okay, this is her remembering because she's about to take her own life, and you can be like, okay, so she's remembering what started all this, her reading the final chapter of her favorite manga,
Mhm.
and then literally being content with where she is in life, of what she believes, and then diving into it, which was great.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Because I didn't like the manga when I read it a year ago, I didn't think I was going to
Yeah.
enjoy watching.
I think with how just like how big the personalities are for
Right,
each person,
right.
just plays out so much better because you can only have so much imagination, and then like with a lot of these I watched, like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I thought, or like I think they watered them down too much. I think in here they kind of are just like, go as big as you want, go as crazy as you want, and just like get it out there. And I think they did a beautiful job on it, and it seems really great. And the studio, I guess, that they hired to do it is to do David Production, which is also known for, which they did talk about during the thing. It's the same studio that did Fire Force.
Mm.
So the
That's nice
the
favorites.
fighting and everything of that, the style, very cool. It's also, I don't know if you guys watched, it's the same studio that did Cells at Work.
I didn't watch it.
Okay. Well, this one, you'll definitely know whether you watched it or not. They're the same studio that pretty much did most of the a couple of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure
Oh.
series. So the
Those
humor,
are completely different styles, though.
they
which
are,
I'm
but I
surprised.
think it all. I feel like a lot of it, you can see hints of it in there of like the animation.
Sure.
But yeah, it's really good. I'd highly recommend watching it. It's definitely. I think those two are my tippity top.
Tippity top. You
Yeah.
heard it from
Yeah,
John.
no, I definitely agree. Like,
Yeah.
I almost put Undead Unlock in the place of the Kingdom of Ruin, but that one I just enjoyed slightly more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I that story. It scratches an itch that I don't think it's scratched too often.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
those are
so
great.
just to recap, we have Dead Mount, Dead
So
Play.
so this is our 6. We're gonna add 2 more, but these are 6 of the 8 anime you should be watching this fall 2023
Right.
season.
It'd be Dead Mount Death Play. A Returner's Magic Should Be Special.
And then we have Under Ninja and Shangri-La Frontier.
And then we have Undead Unluck and the Kingdom of Ruin. Those are Timu Mai's anime picks for what you should be watching this anime season.
Don't waste your time with anything else. Maybe the honorable mentions you can watch, but if you want to follow along with us, you're going to want to watch
We
these 6.
think these, based on our our
Personal
thoughts,
opinions.
our high regarded thoughts, are definitely going to be your most watched, your most enjoyed ones in here. But I wanted to add a little bit more just to make that bracket
bracket worthy.
Yeah, when we go up to it at the end. If we pull up the My Anime list and see what the community is liking, I'm going to sort this by scores.
I'm going
real
to say
quick.
if it's one of the ones that I did not watch, we have to replace it.
We have to replace it. Well, in there looking, so sitting at high in there, the top ones on here are returning ones. So we can actually skip through those because that's not what we're here. We're here to give you the new scoop. But the first ones of the new ones are Shangri-La Frontier, then Undead Unluck. So we won't be picking those since they're in here. But I guess what we're going to be adding, since the community really likes it, the first 2 up on there is My Boss is Goofy.
No! I skipped that one. I watched 15
We
minutes
knew
of
you
it.
would. We knew you
Yeah.
would.
And
knew it.
I'm like, I'm not watching
It's
this.
not terrible,
It's
but
terrible.
you didn't
Are
even
they
watch
gay?
it.
Are they gay?
So that's literally the same conversation we had. Was it's an office trope one. Like we're gonna get into these I guess honorable mentions rolling off of here, but it follows the same kind of trope and formula of my cool cold
Yeah.
office and what was it, my tiny senpai, where it's like it's an office setting, 2 people meet and everything. And I was like, at first I was like, well, it's not very goofy, he's more of like an airhead.
Yeah.
Or what did you say, he's not goofy. Yeah, clueless. Or I was like, and during I was like, it seems more like maybe my Clueless boss or that. And Sai was like, maybe it's just lost in translation. But then later, as it's like going on, he starts calling his boss cute in his head. And I'm
Yeah.
like, they're doing the same exact thing from My Tiny Senpai. I'm like, is this what's it? Yuri Yaoi?
Yuri on Ice.
No, it's boy love and girl love.
Oh, what is that?
Is it Yaoi or Yuri?
It's
one
Yuri.
is one.
It's
One is
Yuri.
one and one
It's
is the other. Okay.
Y-U-R-I.
Yeah. So I thought it was like, is this gonna be like a relationship between them? I was like, but then it kept like, then he was like, oh, when he's like doing more airhead things because he buys pretty much the rundown of it, since this is one of the ones we're gonna be watching.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, I'm not.
The people have spoken, Chris.
They're wrong. They're absolutely wrong.
That's
Let's
the
put
point.
a hand up if we're watching.
the people.
Are you
Oh,
serious?
man, Chris has got to watch.
No,
That's
no,
the
no.
point of it,
Come on,
Chris.
There's
That's
so
the
many
point.
other good ones.
This is literally one of the top rated one. The top rated. The next one down.
It's gonna be so stupid. I can't trust a community because they like shit like this.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to shame you. Like what you like, but you're making me
All right.
have to do things I don't like.
The next one up, I personally didn't really like.
I don't watch it.
What?
What is
Only
it?
throwing shade, so we won't watch it then.
Well, fine, then I'll skip to the third one.
No,
Chris.
what is it?
No,
No, what
let's
is
skip
it?
to the third one, which
You can't leave off.
the third one though is one that I would actually want to watch.
Well, you have to say the
It
one
was an
before.
honorable mention, but going off of what the community wants, was MF Ghost.
Okay, that's
So,
a good one.
hold-
I
I
did
didn't
like
like
that
it.
one.
Hold on. That was my first honorable mention.
Yeah, it's on
Mm.
my
MF
list.
Ghost.
I'm
Really?
happy with that.
We spend the whole first episode not even driving.
Yeah, but it was interesting learning about the characters and,
And the
their
time
life.
in the world that
Did
they're
you
in.
watch it in dub?
If it was dubbed, then
It did
yes.
have a dub. I hated his voice. I hated
The
his
English-
British voice
the-
in
yeah,
it.
Yeah, British. Yeah.
Pretty much it's I think it's based on a video game. MF Ghost, I think it's a Japanese
I've
racing
never
game.
heard of it.
But pretty much it's we're in a not so distant future. Pretty much due to the scarcity of fossil fuels, all cars have been more so replaced with self-driving electric, and in Japan, the racing scene has become a
Gas powered.
yeah.
Yeah.
They
Force
still
powers.
they still do gasoline cars and everything, and the popularity's grown because it's not something people get to do anymore. You don't get to own a
Yeah.
gas car and drive it on the day because the gas has become so expensive. So it's become this high stakes sport that people are watching now, and pretty much we're introduced to this our male protagonist who is
European.
half
Half
European,
European,
half
half
British, half Japanese. His mom is British. His dad was Japanese, which he's looking for his dad because his mom passed away.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
he's also
told.
that's what he's told. But he's also from a prestigious racing school
right.
in the UK. And then we don't even get to see him race at the very end.
But it builds
He
like
starts
it's a
to.
good build up.
It builds up around a story of a guy hitting on an underage girl and trying to get
They're
her
around the
her
same age.
personal
Whoa, no, hold on,
her
hold on, hold on,
personal
hold on, hold on.
information from the
No,
manager of
no.
the racehorse, and he's
No,
like,
no,
we
no.
can't do
Well,
that. And he's
no,
like,
no,
come
no,
on.
That's
that's
not the main
someone else.
character.
That's
That's
I
someone
not
know,
else.
the main
I know, but
character.
he said the story that it's building up
No.
around.
I don't care for that story. I don't care for like.
But then
if-
that
if
dude,
those two-
they meet, and he's like, I'm gonna be your mentor for this whole thing.
I think that's good. They're just trying to make like some type of comedic like.
Yeah.
Also,
thing
too,
for it. I don't know.
it was very weird because so then we're introduced to our second protagonist, the female, which is the
the daughter of where he's.
well, no, what are they called? The race girl.
Yeah.
Card holder.
Well, I do want to mention.
Mhm.
So when you first see her doing her job as like
Yeah.
starting the race, and then like as you meet the character of her just being a normal student, like housing this guy, I did not realize they were the same person until the
Yeah.
very end.
Yeah.
Well, I
So-
also am curious. Does her family know she's doing this?
No, I would
because
say
they're
no.
all talking about like how like
she just has a part time job.
she has a part-time job, and then they don't give out any information about her because she's clearly underage. She said, I think
no,
she's 16.
it's protection for any of them.
Yeah, but there's
some of them put some things on the profile. But
yeah,
it's not-
but
Right.
like nobody knows how old she is, and they all keep hitting on her, and she's 16, and like I'm pretty sure definitely none of her family knows what she's doing.
No.
But regardless of it, and it doesn't seem it's not work she needs to be doing. Not saying that there's anything wrong with
No, but it
her
could
choosing
be,
to do this.
Maybe she likes that. Like,
Well, that was the other
sport.
thing I didn't know. I was like, is it that she wants to be a racer or something? I don't.
I think that would be cool.
I think that'd be
If
cool,
she
but I
ended up
don't
going
think
being
that
racer.
a series
Well,
like this
I
is going to do
think
it.
We need to watch.
I think
this
we're gonna
needs to be
watch
on our
it.
list.
This is going to
pretty
this is
good.
going to be the nail in my head pain the whole time because
Okay.
I disliked it.
You really didn't like
I didn't like it. No.
You enjoyed my goofy boss more than this?
I did laugh more at my goofy
Yes.
boss.
Yeah.
I did not laugh at all. If anything,
I think it's because you were
gagged.
crying the whole time.
Yeah, that was in there. But
What's the one after this?
the one after this that I honestly, it might be an honorable mention of this, and then I think we'll wrap it up here. Would have been I'm gonna butcher this.
Ram Komonohashi's
Yeah,
Forbidden
Forbidden
Deduction.
Deductions.
I didn't. It is on my honorable mention. I enjoyed it, but
It's the
the
Sherlock
ending
Holmes
threw
one,
me
right?
off.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
okay,
It's
it's the Sherlock
essentially
Holmes
it's
one.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sherlock Holmes riff.
I
that
got
they
a
did.
little Ryuzaki from the guy.
Yeah, it was very.
It's real creepy at the end with
Yeah.
with the
Well, that threw me off. Like,
and his eyes
Yeah.
so
changed. I was
this
like,
is a supernatural detective.
that's what I don't know. That was the twist that I was like
Right.
at the very end. So it's essentially a riff on Sherlock Holmes and like the other kind of wacky detectives and animes you've seen.
Mhm.
And with at the last like 5 minutes introducing what we think might be some sort of what's it called? It's like just
Gios.
yeah, almost. It's literally a
Gios.
kiosk, but yeah, some sort of ability that he has because he later finds out because his Watson essentially thought that he had some because he gives up on being or Sherlock gives up on being a detective because he for some reason he doesn't want to disclose and he thinks it's because he has a medical condition even though they literally run straight to the crime scene and he's like,
Yeah.
how are you not out of breath? And he's like, I work out 5 hours a day because I do nothing else with my life because I can't be a detective.
Right.
And then we later find out that the reason why he can't be a detective is because he has 100% success rate in his in the crimes, but a 0% success rate in bringing them in alive.
And he ends up making them,
The
yeah.
people responsible for it because he's
Mhm.
killed every one of them, which we see because he inadvertently tells them to kill themselves,
yeah, it's still pretty.
which we
messed up.
don't know why. But I really wanted to see that.
He keeps
but-
calling him. He's like, your name's too. He tells like the Watson
So
character
I
that his
say
name is too.
instead of my goofy
don't
I know what
boss,
you're.
we put Ron.
But it's not what about what we want. It's about
Yeah,
what
but
the
how many times
community
have we
wants.
reviewed an Office slice of life?
How many
Do you
swords-
want
how
to
many
lie to the
ninja
community,
swords
Chris?
Have we had
Do
in
you
our
want
anime?
to lie to the community?
We're not lying. We're just not watching shitty shows.
If we're doing it, then we have to take out MF Ghost. I don't want to watch MF Ghost.
Okay, fine. Then we
All
put
right.
Miji and Dolly in there.
Miji and Dolly
And
and
that's
Forbidden.
the one that I don't
and
want to watch.
Forbidden-
Oh my creepy.
gosh.
I'll do it. I'll watch it, but I'll let you guys know that show creeped me out, man. That is.
I do
freaky.
want to know what those two. So I guess all right. So this is our 8 then. No, our 10. No wait, our 8. Our 8. Yes.
Oh,
Or
see,
maybe
what-
we just make it an even 10.
No, we'll
An
do
even 10 to watch.
We'll do 8.
Right?
I'm okay with 8 because
Well,
I might
were
watch.
there-
I might watch some other animes on my
Yeah.
own because
Yeah.
we still got Spy Family 2 and
Well, those are just great. Which,
we know.
which hey, November 4th,
The
it's
movie.
coming. No, it's not the movie. The cruise ship arc is coming.
Oh,
November 4th.
yeah, but the
there we go.
movie,
Yeah.
our movie is gonna
The
be
only anime you should be watching on November 4th.
MF Ghost.
No,
Just kidding.
Spy Family. Instead of Attack on Titan's final
that should have been released years ago.
Their fifth final?
episode. Yes. But I mean, technically, we could make it an even 10 and keep in what the community wants, and
No.
then we could have it community 2, and then our what's it called?
our continuation of last.
No,
season's
our
shows we're
runner
watching.
ups. So our runner ups, see how they face the community, because hey, the community
If
likes
we
something
get
about
to
it.
If we get to it.
The community likes something about it.
The community also likes something about the pig. Okay, so like,
All right,
come on.
fine.
I'm down to watch that.
So our final 8 are going to be
Our top 8 MySpace here.
yeah,
yes, our
Dead Mount
Dead-
Play.
Dead Mountain Death Play and a Return of Sorcerers should be special. And then Shangri-La and Under Ninja and Undead Unluck and the Kingdom of Ruin, followed up by
Miji and Dolly.
Miji and Dolly and the Forbidden Detection.
Yeah, deduction.
Deductions.
Ron Komonohashi for Forbidden Deduction.
So that is your recommended 8.
Yep.
What you should be watching this fall anime season that will go up.
I I just want to say for Miji and Dolly, it was pretty creepy, but there
I
are
will say-
moments that I audibly like laughed out
Yeah.
loud.
So we'll end it on this real quick.
Yeah.
So Miji and Dolly, I say is for the right now, just straight up, that is the creepiest anime of the season. And just bizarre. Don't know what's going on with it. It's
Because it's twins. Anything with twins like that is just freaky, man.
It's but it's not. The best way to describe it. It would be it's if what's that horror writer you read?
Junji Ito.
It's like if Junji Ito did comedy.
Yeah, I would say.
That's literally
less
what it is.
grotesque and just
If you
creepy
just did
comedy.
comedy, yeah, I feel like because it's listed as a comedy. It's a mystery comedy. Is the categories that they have listed for it.
I just have a
mystery
couple
comedy.
things that like I don't agree with. Like, why not just say, "Oh, we're twins," and then you could just not do any of this.
I guess we'll have to find
So
out,
the
Chris.
quick rundown for it, and it's a little late to be saying this now, but spoilers for everything. But you want to know what anime to watch. But it literally opens up with who we're assuming is their mother dying.
Yeah,
in,
you saw the blood.
in the snow.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of some illusion. I'm guessing there's some reason they're trying to figure out what happened to her.
Is this a giant revenge plot to get at?
It might. So I will also say, those
Why? 'Cause
parents
they're determined to
adopted.
do- they're determined to do something, and we just
Well,
don't
I don't know
what
if
it
they
is.
specifically picked out those parents because they were talking about like their big scheme, but also
Yeah.
too, those parents seemed weird as hell that were adopting them. When they went there, I was like, are they like murderers or something? Because they were like just so smiley and
Yeah.
like happy and weird. They felt like they were going to be out of some murder story of like they're going to turn on the kids, but it seems like they're
I think
just
the kid's going
Weird.
yeah.
Weird, nice people.
Exactly. Which I'm just like, who are like very old. I would say probably like in their 60s and 50s, and they decide they want to adopt kids now. But yeah, it's just that whole dinner scene and
The jambalaya, man.
the dad wanting to hold him
On
on his
his
shoulders.
shoulders.
Yeah. Well, that
That
was his
was
dream
funny.
to have your son on your shoulders,
know.
and then he's sitting there, and they're like,
3,
"He's going to rub my
2.
shoulders for
Oh,
me."
that was weird.
And I was like, "What
Yeah,
in the world?"
But my favorite scene of the first episode for Maggie and Dolly was when the mom is showing one of them how to cross.
Yeah.
the-
Yeah.
and it's really
Out of
cool when
nowhere.
they mix in English
Yes.
in like the sub, and it's
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it caught me so off
It
guard.
was funny.
I had to rewind. I'm like, did that really just happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm satisfied with the 2 extras that we're watching.
Yeah.
Ron
I will say
Good
it's
introduction.
probably going to be a pretty tough
bracket.
pretty tough bracket, honestly, especially too going
Not a lot
into
of
it.
big mix of stuff. That's
It is a big mix in there. I think it would have been a bigger mix, but it probably would have been an easier bracket with those 2 for MF Ghost and that. We'll for the winter we'll lock it in now. We're gonna go with whatever the community wants. I just know I personally don't want to watch MF Ghost, so I'll let it slide, Chris. I won't hurt your little brain.
wow. He said you got a little brain.
Smooth too,
Why? Why?
because they don't have wrinkles.
Yeah, wrinkles are
Did it to my
intelligence.
The
'Cause
more
it's-
wrinkles you
It's
have,
more pathways.
Yeah.
That's why they say I got one. You ever watch a streamer and he's like, I got a wrinkly brain because they've just pulled off something super smart.
Gone over my
Size
head.
got a smooth brain, I guess.
But yeah, so yeah, thanks for listening to our
Debating.
Treacherous.
our integral breakdown of the winter 2023 season.
It's the fall.
Fall.
He
The
does it every
fall
time.
We got to
2023
retcon a
Every
lot of stuff.
time.
That's said.
season. Yeah, like, you should see here the 8 that you want,
Or
yeah.
there. Or
Or
or there
Somewhere.
somewhere in
Um,
post.
And then yeah, December we're gonna be breaking it down. Which one was the best out of all of these? We'll see where they go. But yeah, that was good. I liked it despite the the annoyance of watching it all.
Yeah.
At the last minute for some of them.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's much more manageable if you just do it every day.
Well, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
I won't.
But you went
make
and got a tattoo
excuses.
instead.
We'll talk about it next time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right. Well,
this has been another integral Anumai podcast episode. Any last things you guys want to get out there?
no.
Thank you for
Yeah.
listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But nothing else.
Go watch it and let us know what you thought.
Yeah. If you agree or disagree with our picks, leave a comment. Let us know what you enjoyed about this season's anime.
Yeah.
And if you have any recommendations, let us know.
Cool. All right.